Well, happy Friday, everyone. Welcome back to the Daily Six. Do you ever feel pressed up against the waters in your life, the overwhelming circumstances? Do you know how God's going to get you across? Would you get Exodus chapter 13 open? Let's take a look at it. Let's see the miracle God did for the people of Israel. Exodus 13. Come on with me. You know, water can be beautiful when you're hanging out by it just at a resort, Alpine Lake here in West Virginia. But water, when you're trapped, it can be deadly. It can be terrifying. People of Israel found themselves trapped between the Red Sea, which was arguably a lot larger than Alpine Lake here. They're trapped between the Red Sea and the Egyptian army behind them, and they saw no way out. God knew this was going to happen. This was part of his whole escape plan, and to reveal his identity to both the people of Israel and the people of Egypt, really, frankly, the whole world could see who God was by putting them right up against this water. Let's look at it. Exodus chapter 13. Verse 17 says that when Pharaoh let the people of God go, God did not lead them on the road through Philistine country, even though that was shorter. There would have been an easier route. They could have just gone direct to where God was sending them. But God said, if they face war, they might change their minds and return to Egypt. He knew that there would be a lot of hardships if they went through the Philistine territory. So God led them through the desert. Verse 18, he led the people around by the desert road toward the Red Sea. And so God knew they're going to get positioned right here. So here's what happens next. Go down to chapter 14, verse 4. God says, I'm going to harden Pharaoh's heart, and he will pursue them. But I will gain glory for myself through Pharaoh and all of his army and the Egyptians, and they will know that I am the Lord. So when the king of Egypt was told that all the people had fled, the people of Israel had fled, Pharaoh and his officials changed their minds. They had some regret. They said, what have we done? We've let the Israelites go, and we've lost their services. Translate, we've lost their free labor, the slave labor. So verse 6, he had his chariot meet ready. He took his army with him. He took 600 of the best chariots along with all the other chariots of Egypt, with officers over all of them. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, so that he pursued the Israelites who were marching out boldly. I love that phrase, the Israelites were marching out boldly. They were so excited about their freedom, and so they're going in the confidence of the Lord. But then they look back, and here comes this Egyptian army and all the chariots. Verse 10, as Pharaoh approached, the Israelites looked up, and there were the Egyptians marching after them. They were terrified, and they cried out to the Lord. They said to Moses, was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you brought us out to the desert to die? What have you done by bringing us out of Egypt? Didn't we say to you in Egypt, leave us alone, let us serve the Egyptians? It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the desert. I understand this, don't you? That they had a certain level of comfort and security. At least they knew, saying the evil that we know is better than the evil we don't know. They were slaves. Yes, they were in prison, but they had a life that at least they understood. Oh, Moses, why'd you bring us out here to die this way? Well, verse 13, Moses answered the people, do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance of the Lord that he will bring to you today. The Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. The Lord will fight for you. You only need to be still. Be still. Stand right on the edge of the water. You've got no hope but the Lord. So Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and all that night the Lord drove the sea back with a strong east wind and turned it into dry ground. And the waters were divided. The water gets parted, like this wind blows, and now there's this open pathway through dry ground across the sea. In verse 22, the Israelites went through the sea on dry ground with a wall of water on their right and on their left. And the Egyptians pursued them. All of Pharaoh's horses and chariots and horsemen, they followed them into the sea. And during the last watch of the night, the Lord looked down from the pillar of fire at the Egyptian army threw them into confusion. The wheels of the chariots came off. They had difficulty driving. Down at verse 26, the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand over the sea so waters may flow back over the Egyptians and their chariots and horsemen." And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and at daybreak the sea went back to its place. The water flowed back and covered the chariots and horsemen, the entire army of Pharaoh that had followed the Israelites into the sea. Not one of them survived. Pretty brutal story, isn't it? But here's what God is doing. He's obtaining glory for himself. He's obtaining a recognition of his identity, that he will always fight for his people and protect them. We need only be still and to trust him. Friends, I wonder in your life, you're not being pursued by an army. You're not pressed up against a physical ocean. But you do have circumstances in your life that are pressing hard against you. And I know you want to flee, and I know you wish there was some way you could fight your way through the problems, through the circumstances. But God's known all about this all along. And he's looking for a way to bring himself glory. We need only be still. Psalms say, "Be still and know that I am God." Could you do that today? Give God 6 more minutes and just be still. And trust him that though this water looks deadly, though that circumstance looks impossible, though that army looks mighty behind you, God is able if you'll just be still. Give him 6 more minutes. Talk to him. Rest in him. Be still. Be quiet. And then come on back on Monday for more right here on the Daily 6. We'll see you then.